What kind of gear do I use? So I'm in Colombia right now, shooting borders. The question I get asked most is what gear I use. This bag carries all my gear. It is a Peak design bag. I discovered it about 2 years ago, and it's changed my world. I'm not gonna go into the bag specifically. It's the everyday bag, it's the 30 liter, and I love it. This is a water bottle made by Swell that I use because it slips perfectly into the side of this Peak design bag. Love that. Let's see. The main stuff I use, of course, this guy. This is a drone, and it is the Mavic Pro. There are new Mavics that are beautiful and better than this, but I stick with this just because I know it, and I don't want to upgrade yet. We have a couple of these as backup, and the batteries all change together. So we're just gonna stick with the Mavic for a little bit. Both Iz and I both use this, and I love it, and it's beautiful, and it's tiny, just like fits right into the bag. In terms of a camera, I'm filming with a camera right now, obviously, so I'm not gonna show you it, although I do have a backup. Hold on. So this is the A7S II. This is what I've always shot on. I'm actually right now, this camera, shooting on the A7 III. If you don't know the difference between A7R, A7S, and A7, you can go look into that. They're all slightly different versions of this same series, the Alpha series, A7 series. And I shoot currently on the A7 III, which is the camera I'm shooting on now. It's almost identical to this camera, the A7S II, but slightly different. It's tiny. Look, it looks like a point and shoot. Love this thing, and will continue to shoot on it into the future, unless there's a camera that's this tiny that comes out. In terms of lenses, I use this mainly, 24-70. Unfortunately, I dropped this, and that happened, but it still shoots fine. Turns out the camera doesn't even go through all of this part of the lens. It's only the moment of the lens that it actually goes through. So I'm actually shooting on this lens and it works perfectly, which is amazing. 24-70 GM f2.8 Sony lens. And this is Izzy's. It is a 85 1.8 prime lens that is beautiful and amazing, and she let me borrow it for this trip. I'm in Colombia right now. I keep all my batteries in a little pouch like this. Lavalier, this little guy, it is a Sennheiser. It has a little receiver that goes right into the thing that is on my camera right now. It's called the K2M. It's a little unit that goes right on the top of the camera, and it turns it into an XLR input. So now I can shoot XLR, and I can put a shotgun mic and this in there and have two beautiful signals of audio. Very wonderful. I've always used this for my vlogging, for borders. It is an amazing little thing. It's called an Osmo, and it just is so stable. It's so small, but here's the problem. It has really, really unreliable audio and really, really unreliable picture. 85% of the time, you're gonna get beautiful audio, beautiful picture. But 15% of the time, you're gonna get really weird artifacts in the picture and in the audio signal. And it's the form of furniture, interior design, that I just can't do that anymore. I've been doing it for years, and I hate it now. I just can't do it. So I decided to give up on this thing, which is painful because I love it. It's so simple and small and beautiful. This is a handheld gimbal that is fantastic for stabilizing your shots. I'm using it for the first time on this trip to Colombia. I've liked it so far. It's really nice. It's basically replaced my need for a tripod in most settings. It's heavy in the sense that you have to carry the thing around. As a backup audio thing, I'll use this Rode mic. Again, this is Izzy's. I'm using it. This Rode video mic is great, and I use it for vlog stuff, just run and gun. Although the K2M I'm slowly winning me over. For charging batteries, I put all of my chargers into this Tupperware, and I Velcroed down this power strip, and then I just take out my drone charger or my phone charger. All these chargers are in here, and they all they all like wrap up into this thing, and all I have to do is plug in one thing, and then they're all powered. So that's beautiful and nice, and it closes at the top for this. Obviously, don't have that all organized right now because I'm charging. All right, I'm losing light, so I should burn through this a little quicker. I use these are my lifesaver. I fly so much, and these things change everything. They're noise canceling headphones made by Bose. They're the QC35s, and I use them so much to listen to books, to listen to music. For overnight flights, I have this sleep playlist that I listen to that like puts me to sleep. Man, overnight flights are literally the worst thing that ever have been invented, but that is my life. So here we go. Okay, my computer. I have this computer. It is a 2017 MacBook Pro, and it is works great. I use Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects. I use ChronoSync, which is a way to back up your footage onto hard drives. Speaking of hard drives, I also wear these when I don't want to cancel noise. I'll just put on headphone little AirPods. This is, speaking of hard drives, a little tiny Samsung hard drive that is a solid state 1 terabyte drive. It's tiny, and this is my principal drive that I work off of. It's small. My problem with drives is that I'm always like on an airplane or on like a bus or in a Jeep like working, and the drive will disconnect like while I'm in the middle of editing, which is the worst thing in the world. And so this thing is so nimble and tiny and not heavy that it doesn't disconnect. It kind of just flops around, and it's great. With that, I also buy these really long cables so that I can like connect it and like put it in some safe place and be like working and just have to worry about the cable. Because the MacBook requires dongles, I have this little toiletry bag that carries all of my dongles and all of my little cables, my phone chargers, things like that. Okay. Tripod. Tripod I'm using is this Manfrotto Be-Free tripod. It is very small. What I like about this tripod is that I can break it down. I'll do this really quick. What I like about this tripod is it now fits in the water bottle holder in the side of my Peak Design bag, which is, again, heaven. Like, I hate my life when gear is in the way of doing stuff. So I could upgrade to a bunch of really nice stuff and get probably better picture and better quality, but if it inhibits me from doing the kind of nimble work that I like to do, then it is definitely not worth it. I store everything into, okay, now it's way too dark for me to even show this. Just know that this is a Manfrotto Carry-On Bag that's like fortified. It's kind of like a Pelican case, but it's just like a carry-on bag. I'm able to put all of my gear and my clothing, everything, into this Peak Design bag and that carry-on bag. And I don't have to check bags, which is really, really, really nice. Again, when you can just streamline your life with smaller, simpler stuff, then you can do the fun stuff, which is like going places. Did I leave anything out? I use an iPhone 10, which is, I don't know. I don't love it. It's not like, I don't love it. I think the camera's nice, but I don't think it's special. I got it because I thought it was going to be special, and I was kind of like underwhelmed by it. But it works. It's good. And that is all of my gear. Oh yeah, I put this little filter. This is a graduated ND filter that can go from 2 to 8 stops for shooting in kind of brighter conditions. I put that on both the lenses, not all the time, but when it's bright outside, I'll try to put it on. At the end of the day, gear matters. It does matter for getting quality stuff. It doesn't matter in the sense that it's not going to make your stuff amazing. Unfortunately, my issue is that people, I feel like, because gear is easy to quantify, you can like read the numbers and say, oh, it has this many megapixels and it shoots this frame rate at 4K. It's a lot easier to get into that. It's not as kind of subjective as story and as doing kind of the work. And so I think a lot of people get fixated on gear because it's easier, frankly. I know I do that often. I'm like, oh, I should upgrade to this camera because it's so much easier to like feel like you're getting better by buying something that has really cool specs than it is to say like, oh, what weird new technique should I try to make my story better or like my presentation better. So anyway, that's my theory on gear. That's what I use. If you have any questions, please leave them here. I'd love to answer them the best I can. And I hope this was helpful in some way. All right, until next time.